Medicine Shop Pharmacy has been serving Charlotte County for 27 years with the same owner and pharmacist, Wayne Wallace. They offer the personalized service of a small-town pharmacy, but the buying power of a large chain to keep prices low. Medicine Shop specializes in compounding medication, which means custom making them for each patient, including bioidentical hormones. They even have free delivery. Medicine Shop is located on US 41 in Port Charlotte. Call them at 941-627-9855. Metagenics is a worldwide supplement company that offers better health through nutrition and lifestyle medicine. Its high-quality products are designed to help doctors and healthcare professionals offer safe, effective, and more natural approaches to their patients. Metagenics is an industry leader in metabolic detoxification, something we all need because of our toxic environment. They also have numerous supplements to treat illness and maintain health. Metagenics products are only available through healthcare practitioners. To find the one closest to you, go to their website at metagenics.com. When it comes to health and aging, our bodies are under constant attack. Free radicals are your health's #1 enemy. Now there's overwhelming science pointing to antioxidants as the ultimate solution to this free radical assault. The great news is that cocoa is the most powerful antioxidant superfood on the planet. That's right, chocolate. But not just any chocolate, only one chocolate. Shosai is recognized by the U.S. Trademark and Patent Office as healthy chocolate. Shosai is cold-processed cocoa with acai and blueberry. It is delicious. All of the Shosai products proudly display their certified levels of flavonoids and antioxidants. They're among the highest scores of any foods in the world. Are you concerned about your health? You must eat more antioxidants. Why not eat Shosai, the healthy chocolate? To try Shosai, to get more information, or to learn how to build your own part-time business and residual income as part of my team, call 1-800-996-5383 or visit our website, hcinfo.net. Welcome back, and thank you again for joining me today on Prescription for Health. I hope that you'll take the time to investigate our sponsors. Go to our website at prescriptionforhealth.tv, get to their sites, call them, thank them for sponsoring this show and for the work that we're doing here in Southwest Florida to bring holistic health and healing to the people. We've been talking about the problems that we're facing here in America, and we've talked specifically about the obesity epidemic and also about metabolic syndrome. Now we're going to take a look at diabetes. So let's cut to that. So diabetes affects over 24 million Americans, with 57 million at risk for developing diabetes. 1 in 3 people born, this is very scary, 1 in 3 people born in the United States in 2000 will develop diabetes during their lifetime if the present trends continue. 1 in 3 people with diabetes in our country. That's scary. The risk is higher for African Americans and for Hispanics, especially for Hispanic girls and women who have a 1 in 2 chance of developing diabetes during their lifetime. What's the problem with diabetes? Well, there's numerous complications that most of you have probably heard of. Heart and vascular disease, renal failure, blindness and other eye diseases, neuropathy, amputations. Diabetes is not something you want to have. It's not acceptable to have. And for the most part in this country, it's totally preventable with a few easy, not so easy changes that we need to make in our lifestyle. And I'm going to, educate you about that in the coming weeks. What about cancer? Let's cut to that. Cancer, as we talked about in the opening, seems to be everywhere. I don't know any family that hasn't been affected by cancer in one way or another. 1.6 million new cases in the United States this year, excluding skin cancers. So these are serious cancers that are affecting our country. Where is all this cancer coming from? 580,000 deaths this year. That's 1,500 people a day will die of cancer. What are the most common cancers? Lung, prostate, and colorectal cancer in men, lung, breast, and colorectal cancer in women. The lifetime probability of being diagnosed with an invasive cancer, guys, is 45% for men and 38% for women. That means half of the guys out there and a third of the women are going to have cancer at one point, and that's not acceptable. So what is causing this? Well, we're going to look at that in subsequent shows, but clearly our toxic environment has resulted in all the cancers that we're seeing, along with our diet, hormone imbalances, numerous other things that we're going to look at that we've been talking about here today. All these problems are interrelated. They're not isolated events. What about cardiovascular disease? It's a leading cause of death in the United States, and stroke is the fourth leading cause. So cardiovascular disease has not gone away just because we hear more about cancer and other things. This is still the #1 killer in our country. In this country, 76 million people are hypertensive. 76 million people have high blood pressure. 21% of men and 17.5% of women over 18 are smokers. That hasn't really changed very much either. With all the education that we've done, we still have a ton of smokers in this country, which clearly contributes to this cardiovascular disease. 20% of boys and 19% of girls in grades 9 to 12 are smokers. So our high school kids are not getting the message. 72% of men and 62% of women are overweight. They're at risk for diabetes and all the things that we're talking about. And 32% of boys and 31% of girls are overweight or obese. This is what's going to happen in the next few years in this country, is a bludgeoning, burdening explosion of diabetes and vascular problems because of our weight issues. Less than 1% of U.S. adults meet the definition for an ideal healthy diet. No children in this country, according to studies, meet the goal. That's scary. We're going to try to correct that with education here. And 20% of adults and 37% of 9 to 12 graders meet federal guidelines, don't meet federal guidelines for physical activity. Or do meet federal guidelines for physical activity. That means 80% of adults and a bunch of 9 to 12th graders aren't meeting federal guidelines for physical activity, and we know that that's directly related to cardiovascular disease. Now, what about thyroid and autoimmune disorders? A lot of you probably aren't very familiar with thyroid disease or autoimmune problems. Your thyroid gland is located here in your neck, and there are numerous things that can affect your thyroid function. We're having an epidemic of thyroid disease, low thyroid disease in this country, a lot of which is caused from autoimmune problems. So autoimmunity means that your immune system is attacking your own body. Well, that shouldn't be happening. What's causing your immune system to go haywire like that and to attack your system? Well, the most sensitive organ that it seems like it attacks first is your thyroid. And so people develop this autoimmune thyroid destruction, which causes their production of hormone to decrease, and they become hypothyroid. So let's take a look at some of the figures about thyroid disease. So most thyroid disorders are undiagnosed. Might be up to 30% of U.S. adults are hypothyroid. I practice a lot with people who are pretty ill, but I can tell you that there's a lot of individuals out there that are hypothyroid that don't know it, and the tests that are run routinely to check for your thyroid function are not accurate. So when you have a screening test by your doctor to check for thyroid and they tell you, oh, you're fine, don't believe it, because that test is highly inaccurate. It's called the TSH test, and we'll talk more about that in subsequent weeks. Officially, 20 million, or 7.3% of Americans, are hypothyroid. I think it's probably a lot higher. Now, most thyroid patients are diagnosed with either fatigue, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, depression, arthritis, allergies, or obesity. They're misdiagnosed. They're told that they have these other problems when the real issue is that their thyroid is really not working right. So what's the result of all this? Well, thyroid inactivity or autoimmune problem results in immune dysfunction, so that you get sick from a lot of things, weight issues, which we've talked about, hormone imbalances, osteoporosis, heart failure, dysrhythmias, which are abnormal heart rhythms, GI problems of all kinds. So your thyroid affects a lot of things. And is this a cause of cancer? Well, obviously, if your immune system has gone haywire and you're attacking yourself, yes, it is a cause of cancer, and it may be one of the reasons why we have such an explosion of cancer in this country. What about fatigue? You know, this seems to be the most common complaint that we're hearing in our offices. You ask primary care doctors and alternative medicine practitioners, and they're going to tell you, hey, I hear a lot of people coming in here and they're exhausted. They have no energy. So what is the deal with all the fatigue? It's robbing Americans of productivity, of happiness. How can you possibly be productive or happy in your life if you're exhausted all the time and can't accomplish the things that you want to do with your family, at work, in your recreation time, or for the Lord, in fact? And this is one of the issues that I'm seeing in most churches today, is that the people are so exhausted, they can't get involved in ministry activities. They don't have the energy to do it. The result is it's costing the healthcare system enormous resources to evaluate and treat these people. It's costing business and industry time and money. Now, all this lost productivity, this results in huge costs to our healthcare system and to business and industry. And it's actually costing the church. Members, pastors, I can't tell you how many pastors I've treated who tell me they're just too exhausted to go on. They can't serve in the ministry anymore. Pastors' wives come to me and say, I'm just burned out. I can't do anything anymore. And so we have to change what's going on, and I'm telling you that this fatigue issue is tied together with all these other problems, and we're going to look at a comprehensive solution to that in subsequent weeks. Well, what does God say about all this? Let's take a look. He says in Exodus 15:26, and he said, if you will give earnest heed to the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have put on the Egyptians. For I, the Lord, am your healer. This is what God said through Moses to the people of Israel. I think it's still applicable today. We have turned away from what God wanted us to do, both in our spiritual lives, but also in our physical lives. And we need to get back to what he wanted us to be doing to take care of ourselves. And so the prescription for health, our purpose of this show, is to educate the people of Southwest Florida about holistic health and healing, to help the body of Christ to get healthy so that ministries will be empowered and equipped by vibrant disciples, and to share the good news about what Jehovah Rapha, Yahweh Rapha, the Lord who heals, the many ways he heals us, and our responsibility to use what he has given us for our healing. God wants you to live a vibrant, healthy, long life. That's his intent for you. We have to learn how to use the tools that he's given to us to get healthy, and that's what I'm going to try to teach you on this show. Thank you again for joining me today for Prescription for Health. May God bless you. Thank you for watching Prescription for Health, Southwest Florida's local weekly TV program devoted to holistic health and healing. This is an outreach of Christian Health Ministries, dedicated to providing free medical care to the poor and uninsured of Southwest Florida who are in pain. If you would like to give toward the work of our free clinic, please send your tax-deductible donation to the address on the screen. God bless you on your journey toward better health.